Well, that's pretty cool.
What's up everybody, Ben White here, welcome to Tactical Fellowship. The purpose of today's video is to give my 2 cents on a little pocket gun that Guns & Ammo named their 2024 handgun of the year. Yes, I'm talking about the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. I set out to answer a couple questions for myself, observations that other reviewers had made about the gun. Is this thing too small? Will I have a hard time racking this? Will I get slide bite? Are the sights off from the factory? Does the mag follower catch on the mag? Basically, I am trying to answer why in the world everybody seems to like the Bodyguard 2.0. Before we get to that though, how about you go ahead and stick your thumb up YouTube's anti-gun loving hole by liking and subscribing. And do you know how much of your information is floating around the internet? Are your passwords all over the place? Mine were. That's why I use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura lets me know when my data has been stolen or leaked on the dark web. And they send me fraud alerts when schmucks try to use that data to access credit or bank accounts. Best of all, it deletes my information from data broker websites so I get less spam. Did you hear that National Public Data had a major data breach? 2.9 billion records used for background checks released online by the hackers. If my information was part of that dumpster fire, I wouldn't need to worry because Aura is always on, doing the work that I don't know how to do to keep my stuff safe on the internet. Guys, this is an app that actually works, but don't take my word for it. Try it out yourself using my link aura.com/tactical fellowship for a free 2-week trial so you can experience the online protection you and your family deserve. To Taco Bet, this might become your first pocket gun. All right, so let's dive into the specifics of the gun. Let's start answering the questions that I asked at the beginning of this video. Is this gun too small? No, it's not. I would actually say that it's perfectly small. It feels like a perfectly contoured piece of plastic. I admit I have a soft spot in my heart for the secret sauce that Smith seems to put on their grips. I haven't owned a Smith in a very long time, but I've always appreciated how they feel in my hand, and this little gun continues that tradition of having a very easy to hold handle. I wonder too if part of the smallness that feels so perfect is because this gun is simply the basics. There are 0 accommodations made for a red dot. This thing will not have a red dot on it. It is simply the frame, the slide, and then iron sights, and that's it. It does keep the overall footprint of the gun super small. And I would like to add at this point too that I do appreciate the very easy to see and pick up orange front post on my version. And I didn't spend any more time thinking about the irons on this gun because they just worked and I didn't have to think about them. Did I have any issue racking the slide? No, I had 0 issue racking the slide. Look at this slide. How in the world could you have any issue racking the slide? Look at how aggressive the serrations are all over this thing. They went nuts with serrations. There's like no room left for no serrations. So I had 0 issue racking this gun. Did I get any slide bite? I'm actually surprised that I didn't. When I first picked up the gun at my friend William's place, I choked up real high on it like I normally do, and I noticed right away, I'm like, oh man, this thing's gonna rip up my hand. But all right, William, I'll borrow this and I'll give it a run for its money. And then when I got to the range, I just put it in my hand and started shooting it, and I didn't give it any second thought, and I didn't have blood spilling out of my hand. I didn't have blood on my goggles, and so obviously I didn't get any slide bites. So perhaps this is because they actually do have a pretty nice beaver tail on it, and the contour of the grip is just the right angle, and so I don't really know how to explain it. I really expected myself to bleed all over this thing, but I didn't. Are the sights off from the factory? And so Humble Marksman pointed this out in his review that they were off from the factory for him about 1 millimeter. So here's the group that I did with the gun at 15 yards. I just did one group, I just posted up, and I just shot a small little group. That first shot you see there, that was a flyer, that was my fault. The trigger surprised me, but the rest is a pretty tight cluster. It's a little bit off to the left. I can't really see that these things are very, very hardcore misaligned, and so I'm going to say that the sights from the factory were fine for me. Speaking of the trigger that surprised me, I actually really did like the trigger on this thing. It was great. The trigger was as crisp as I'd like it to be, and I kind of come from P320 land where the triggers just kind of blow, so this trigger was quite fantastic to me. The only issue that I see is like on a very solid and aggressive gun, the dingus, the blade safety dingus on this thing looks like, I don't know if you remember like putting together airplane models back in the day, you know, the airplane parts sheet that would come that you'd twist the parts off and they kind of fall. The dingus kind of reminds me of a part that's like Do I twist this? Is this a part I'm keeping, or is this a part I'm throwing away? And on an overall very sturdy gun, that really truly did look like the most frail moment of the gun for me. But other than that, though, it functioned just fine as a trigger. It was totally fine. I'd also seen that some guys had some issues with the magazine follower catching on the magazine tube itself, and I did not have any problems with that. I loaded this thing multiple times, full up, full down, full up, full down. Now, granted, this gun has been in possession. It's already got quite a few rounds through it, and it has been kept. The magazines have been kept fully loaded for a few weeks already at this time. So, and I just had that one magazine, but at no point did I need to chip off a part of the follower using a mag pull loader as I'm squeezing down in order for the follower to go up and down on the magazine tube. So I'm going to consider that a victory for this gun. Where others has experienced failure, I did not experience that failure. And I wanted to give a special shout out to the knurling on the safety. It was perfect. Well done, Smith. Swipe down, swipe up. It caught on my skin, and with a positive click, it went either up or down. And I was not expecting that to be as effective as it was. I'm sure that with much use, that the knurling there is going to wear down over time, but I could not believe how effective it was for it to simply catch on to my skin and go up and down. And I think that was really well done on that. The only con I really have is, do you really want to run out and buy really expensive 380 auto ammo? I know I don't. I'm all about condensing calibers, so unless you already own a 380 and have ammo to go with it, you don't need this gun. I do already have a 380 and I have some 380 ammo. So to conclude, I absolutely understand why Guns and Ammo named this their 2024 Handgun of the Year. It is a really stinking, fast little shooting gun. The ability to control it was fantastic. Some guys have gone as far as to say it kind of shoots like a 22. I'm not going to go that far. You are still shooting a 9. It's a little 9, but it's definitely giving you a little bit more pop than a 22. But it is surprisingly easy to shoot. It is easy to keep on target, and the price point just, you can't be beat. Just really priced well for what you're getting. And so, dang. With that being said, guys, I hope this has been helpful to you to help you separate fact from fiction. My brief experience with the Bodyguard 2.0 was really positive. Be sure to check out the kit page for all your next steps. And as always, ride fast, shoot straight, get off the couch and into some tactical fellowship. And we'll see you next time.